What is physiological performance and testing for the athlete? According to Alex Jutan of GB International, sports performance is very important and prominent now. For elite athletes, it is something to commonplace, and there are many options for the athlete looking to gain an edge through statistics and knowledge.
Is our understanding of the body in terms of nutrition, equipment, conditioning, and how the best to extract every performance that I believe has led to such drastic advances worldwide. The most frequently used laboratory tests for athletes assess the physiological responses to a series of submaximal exercise stages, as well as quantifying the upper limits of an individual physiological responses as assessed during maximal exercise.
What is principle of specificity? The principle of specificity derives from the observation that the adoption of the body or change in physical fitness is specific to the type of training undertaken. Quite simply, this means that if a fitness objective is to increase flexibility, then flexibility training must be used. If one desires to develop strength, resistance, or a strengthening exercise must be employed. The principle is indeed simple, however, it is frequently ignored. Many fraudulent claims for exercise product or system promise overall physical fitness from one simple training technique. A person should be suspicious of claims and should consider whether or not the exercise training recommended is the type that will produce the specific changes desired.
The importance of specificity. Overload means that to improve any aspect of physical fitness, the individual must continually increase the demands based on the appropriate body system. For example, to develop strength, progressively heavier object must be lifted. Overload in running program is achieved by running longer distances by increasing the speed.
Warm-up and cool-down. The warm-up allows various body systems to adjust to increase metabolic demand. The heart rate increases, blood flow increases, and muscle temperature rise. Warm-up is certainly a more comfortable way to begin an exercise session, and is probably safer. Progressively more vigorous exercise or a gradual increase in walking speed are good way to warm up. It is equally important to cool down that speed to gradually reduce exercise intensity at the end of each session. Slow walking and stretching for 5 minutes at the end of an exercise session is therefore a good practice. The heart rate should gradually decline during the cool-down, and by the end of 5 minutes, it should be less than 120 beats per minute for individuals under 50 years of age, and less than 100 beats per minute for those over 50.
Two people who are similar in many respects and who starts the same exercise program may have entirely different impressions of it. One person may feel that the exercise is too easy while the other may believe that it's too hard. It's certainly appropriate the exercise plan be adjusted to account to preference.
Athletes need to program their training year carefully so they can improve fitness, optimize performance, and peak during competition, as well as reduce injury risk. Periodization is key to planning a training program and involves dividing the year into specific blocks, with each block having a particular goal. These training blocks are referred to as cycles, and periodization divides training into 3 cycles: the macrocycle, mesocycle, and the microcycle.
The preparation period. The length of the preparation period is dependent on the sport. However, typically occurs 8 to 12 weeks before the start of competition. Performers will block the preparation period into mesocycles. The first mesocycle will involve general conditioning, improving building aerobic fitness, strength, speed, and flexibility.
Training will be high in volume and frequency. This general conditioning cycle is then followed by targeted cycles aimed at developing specific areas of fitness, for example, strength or speed. This may involve decreasing the volume of training but increasing the intensity. By the end of a preparation period, an athlete should be aiming to get to peak fitness for competition.
The competition period. Performers will focus on maintaining their fitness levels through their competitive season. The competition period will include more rest recovery days as the athlete will be competing and training. The performer must aim to maintain peak fitness when competing. During this phase, athletes may focus on skills, strategies, and techniques. Training volume is reduced, but the intensity is still high.
The transition period, also known as the off-season, the period allows an athlete to recover physical and mentally from a demanding session. The transition period may involve complete rest along with active recovery. Active recovery will consist of low-intensity aerobic or stretch work. The training will increase as the next preparation phase grows closer.
Practice plan. Before the first practice with your athletes, sit down as a stop and write down each practice and competition date on the calendar. Then go back and number your practices. Those practice numbers will become the foundation of your season plan. Now you can work through the season plan, moving from practice to practice to create a quick overview of what you hope to cover in each practice. To create a season plan, simply list the practice number, the purpose of the practice main skills you will cover, and the drills you will use during the practice. While developing this plan, keep in mind the research that you gathered earlier. Also keep in mind the various skills that your athlete must learn and be sure to cover those skills in your season plan. Your season plan provides a snapshot of the entire season.
In practice plan, we have the order of sports performance assessment, regardless of the sport or group size. Baseline assessment should occur before an athlete can participate in a program. To ensure the sports performance professionals are collecting relevant and effective information, they should gather objective assessment.
This is a suggested sequence for assessment. First one is review health risk appraisal, biometric measures, anthropometrical measures, static postural assessment, movement screen, flexibility, muscular endurance, cardiorespiratory fitness, and performance assessments.
Use your season plan to begin developing individual practices. You may need to adjust your season plan throughout the season, and that is okay. It is meant to serve as a guide that can be revised and adjusted if you and the staff believe the team needs extra work in certain areas, or if injuries or equipment issues force you to change your plans.
Developing practice plans. Coaches rarely believe they have enough time to practice everything they want to cover. Therefore, you must set and agree or priorities concerning how the practices will be conducted and actual amount of time to allocate for each part of the practice. Although your practice structure will vary slightly depending on where you are in your season. Each practice plan should include the following section. The first one is purpose, the next one equipment, and the last one is the plan.
The purpose of a practice focuses on what you want to teach your athletes. It outlines the main theme for the practice and should be drawn from your season plan. Equipment sections note what you need to have on hand for each practice. Plan sections are the core of what you will do during practice.
Plan sections consist of the following basic elements. Coaching essentials. Warm up 5 to 10 minutes. Each practice should begin with a warm up and stretching period. Breaks, running can also be used to rise the athlete's core temperature. Cool down 5 to 10 minutes. Practice should include with a cool down and stretch period. Following this, you warm up the practice with a few summarizing comments and remind the athlete of the next practice or competition. The remaining elements of the plan section vary both in structure and its content depending on where you are in the session. However, elements that may be used in multiple practice are as follows.
Team building. This period can be used to introduce new information relevant to the focus of the day. It should be short and to the point. Individual period, 15 minutes. During this period, teach individual techniques to the various individuals or group. The size of your coaching staff will determine the number of groups. Keep the drills short. Teach one techniques in each drill and allow each athlete the maximum number of repetition. For the group period, 20 minutes, use this time to have the athletes play a game or two to let them use the skills they have just learned and to understand them in the context of the game. During the game and skills practices, emphasize the importance of every athlete being involved. No athlete should just be standing around watching the rest of the team.
Regular season practices. You will conduct your regular season practices according to your practice plans once the regular season is underway. Regular season practices before the competition day. Prepare the team for the contest by reviewing the pre-competition routine for stretching, where they will go, and what they will do for the warm-up. Do not run the athletes excessively during a practice right before a competition. Keep their legs rested and their minds fresh.